All right, you ready to dive in? We're tackling hoodoo today,
Oh, ready.
which I am honestly like so excited about
Yeah.
because it's one of those things I feel like we hear it referenced a lot, but I don't know if everyone listening has like a firm grasp on like what actually is hoodoo, you know?
Right, right. It's one of those terms that gets thrown around a lot.
It does.
And I think people kind of lump it into like a general kind of Southern folk magic category.
Right.
But it has its own like unique history and practices and beliefs.
It really does. And it's very much, for me anyway, what I've read about it, it feels very much like this sort of taking what you have and making it work for you, which I love that.
Absolutely. It's very DIY, very adaptable.
Yes.
Which is part of what makes it so resilient. You know, it's about using what's available to you, whether that's herbs or, everyday objects, and imbuing them with intention and purpose.
It's like magic on a budget in a way, right? You know, like you don't need fancy tools or ingredients. It's about what you can do with what you've got.
Exactly. It's about that ingenuity, that resourcefulness, and that connection to the power that's already all around us.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of, we talked about it being kind of Southern and stuff, but like this is very much tied to the history of slavery in America.
Absolutely. You can't separate hoodoo from its roots in the African diaspora.
Like, and I was reading this account of a slave who was consulting a root worker for protection against, a particularly cruel owner.
Yeah, and that speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It does.
About how hoodoo provided not just, like, spiritual solace, but also a sense of agency in a system that was literally designed to strip people of their power.
Absolutely. And, and when you think about some of the figures that we hear about, like the conjurers, the root workers, the treaters, even the secret doctors, right?
So many names.
So many names for them.
Reflecting the different facets of their roles, right?
Yes, but they were like the healers, the advisors, the protectors of their community.
Absolutely. They were the keepers of knowledge.
And they commanded so much respect.
They did. And, it wasn't always just learned knowledge either, right?
Oh, tell me more about that.
There was this belief that some people were, like, called to this path.
Interesting.
Particularly those who might have been born with, certain physical differences.
Oh, wow.
They were seen as having a special connection to the spirit world.
Oh, I see. So these weren't just like skills you picked up. It was like you were chosen.
Exactly. It was a calling, a gift, a burden sometimes, I'm sure, but a vital role within the community.
And they were trusted, right? Like they weren't looked down on.
No. They were revered. They were sought out for their wisdom and their ability to navigate both the spiritual and the mundane.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the specific practices, because there are some that are like, when you read about them, you're like, what?
Like what?
Like track gathering.
Oh, yeah. That one always gets people.
And explain this to me.
Okay, so imagine this.
Okay.
You want to influence someone, right? Maybe draw them closer, maybe, send them on their way.
Okay.
But instead of, like, talking to them, you use their footprints.
Their what?
Their footprints.
Hold on, you're losing me.
Okay, so the belief here is that your personal energy, your essence, it's not just in your body. It's also in the things you touch, the traces you leave behind.
Okay.
And the palms of your hands, the soles of your feet, those are like PowerPoints.
Really?
Yeah, connections to your life force.
Okay, so you're telling me, like, if I get a hold of, I don't know, your shoe, I can use that to, like, I don't know, make you do my bidding.
Well, it's not quite that simple.
Okay.
It's not like mind control or anything. It's more like you're tapping into that connection, that energetic link.
Oh.
And you're using it to influence them on a spiritual level.
So it's not like guaranteed to work. It's more like you're just kind of
nudging the universe.
Nudging, yes.
Exactly. It's all about intention.
Intention is huge.
And it can be used for good or for ill. It all depends on the practitioner and their purpose.
So you're saying it's not inherently evil?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right.
It's like any tool, right?
Yeah, right.
It depends on how you use it.
I mean, I could use a hammer to build a house, or I could use it to,
exactly
hurt somebody.
There you go.
It's all about how you're using it.
Precisely.
So I think we need to take a quick break, but when we come back,
yeah,
let's talk about laying tricks, because that's another one where I'm like, come on, really?
Oh, we're getting into the good stuff now. I like it.
We're going to get into all of it.
All right, let's do it.
We'll be right back. Laying tricks.
Laying tricks, all right?
Come on, tell me everything.
So it sounds kind of, maybe a little more nefarious than it is.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's not about, like, setting traps for people to, like, trip over and have misfortune befall them.
Right. It's not like you're hiding something under a doormat for someone.
Exactly. No booby traps here.
Okay.
It's more about, like, how we talked about intentionality?
Yeah.
It's about using objects and placement to kind of, like, nudge energy in a certain direction.
Okay.
So let's say you're trying to attract love.
Okay.
Yeah. You might lay a trick with, like, rose petals, candles, things that are associated with love and romance.
So it's like setting the mood, but on a, like...
on an energetic level.
Yeah, fair.
Creating that vibration, that frequency to draw those energies to you.
Okay, so it's not like I'm going to go sprinkle rose petals on someone to be like, you love me.
No.
Okay, good to know.
It's more about aligning yourself with those energies.
Right, setting the intention. Okay, so it can be like little things like that, or it can be like more elaborate. Like,
oh, absolutely.
If you've got a whole altar set up.
Right, you could have a whole like ritual space dedicated to a specific purpose.
Yeah.
And the way you arrange the objects, the ingredients you use, it all plays a part in directing that energy.
Okay, so this is all starting to make a little more sense now.
Good.
Because I think when people hear hoodoo, they think like, oh, it's all about, curses and hexes. And
it gets a bad rap.
It does, but it's really, there's so much more to it.
Oh, so much more.
It's about understanding these subtle energies and how to work with them.
Exactly. It's a nuanced practice. It's not just black and white, good or bad. It's about understanding the intricacies of these energies and using them responsibly.
Okay, I like that. Responsibly, because I feel like that's key here, right?
Absolutely.
Like, we're not trying to manipulate anyone. We're not trying to, like, force anything to happen.
We're working in harmony with these energies.
Right, and with respect, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Respect is paramount.
Okay, good. Because I think sometimes, when people start dabbling in things they don't understand, it's easy to...
Right, to get in over their heads.
Exactly.
And that's where things can go sideways.
Things can go sideways, exactly.
It's important to approach this with humility and a willingness to learn.
Absolutely, and probably a good dose of caution.
Always a good idea.
Okay, so we talked about track gathering, we talked about laying tricks, and I have to ask about the ingredients.
Oh, the ingredients, yes.
Because this is where, you were talking about resourcefulness, and it's like, you open up one of these books and you're like, whiskey, chamber lye.
It's a veritable witch's pantry.
It really is. Like, what is going on here?
Well, remember, these practices developed out of necessity, using what was available.
Right.
But it goes deeper than that.
Okay.
There's a belief that these natural elements, these plants, these minerals, they have their own vibrations, their own properties, and those properties can be harnessed for magical purposes.
So it's like each ingredient has its own, like, personality.
And yes.
Its own energy signature.
Exactly. It's not just about randomly throwing things together.
Okay.
It's about understanding of those energies and how they interact with each other and with your intention.
So you got to know what you're doing.
It helps.
Okay, so, like, give me an example. Like, what's something like wahoo root used for?
Wahoo root. That's a good one. It's traditionally used for protection.
Okay.
Especially against negativity, spiritual harm, that kind of thing.
Interesting.
And it makes sense. When you think about the plant itself, it's known for being very strong, resilient, able to thrive in harsh conditions.
So it's like you're taking that essence of the plant, that strength.
Exactly.
And you're using it to create a protective barrier.
Precisely.
That is so cool.
Right. It's like nature provides.
It really does. And, we're talking about all these ingredients.
Yes.
We can't forget about the hoodoo dolls.
Ah, yes, the dolls.
Because they've gotten so, like, sensationalized, I think, in popular culture.
Oh, absolutely. They're practically a cliche at this point.
Yeah, like, people see them and they think, like, voodoo dolls, curses.
Right, but that's not really what they're about.
Okay, so tell me, what's the real deal with the dolls?
They're tools, essentially.
Tools.
Vessels for intention.
Okay, I like that. Vessels for intention.
You create this doll.
Yeah.
And you imbue it with personal items, colors, and most importantly, your focused intention.
So it's not about controlling someone else like some people might think.
No, it's about directing your own energy towards a specific outcome.
Okay, so it's more about, like, manifestation.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
It's about aligning yourself with those energies, creating a tangible representation of your desires.
So it's like, I don't know, if you're trying to, like, attract more money, you might make a doll and put, like, I don't know, coins on it or something.
Exactly. Or green fabric, things that represent wealth and abundance.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture here.
Good, good.
It's like you're creating this physical manifestation of your will, your intention.
Precisely.
Okay, that's actually really cool.
And of course, the details matter.
Like what?
The color of the fabric, the objects you attach to it, even the way you dress it, it all plays a part.
Okay, so you're not just like slapping this thing together.
No, there's thought and intention behind every element.
It's like you're creating a visual spell almost.
A very apt description.
Wow, okay, this is all starting to click.
Good, I'm glad to hear it.
So we've talked about grounding, protection, even a bit of manifestation.
Right.
But what about purification? Because the sources might be What's the significance of water in this context?
Well, water, I mean, it's universally recognized for its cleansing properties, right?
Right.
In so many spiritual traditions, it represents purification, renewal.
Yeah, like washing away negativities.
Exactly. And in Hoodoo, it's not just about physical cleansing. It's about spiritual, emotional, even energetic purification.
So it's about more than just getting clean. It's about cleansing your aura, I guess you could say.
Exactly. It's like hitting the reset button on your energy.
Okay, I like that.
You're immersing yourself in this water that's been infused with herbs, roots, other ingredients.
Okay, so the ingredients matter here too.
Absolutely. Just like with everything else, intention is key.
So if you're trying to attract love, you might use rose petals, lavender, things like that.
Exactly. Or, for protection, you might use herbs known for their warding properties, like rosemary, hyssop, black salt.
So it's like you're creating a personalized potion for your energy field.
Exactly. You're drawing on the power of those natural elements to achieve a specific outcome.
I'm really starting to understand how all of this ties together.
It's all connected. It's all about intention and energy.
So do you have any, favorite bath recipes from the sources you've come across?
Oh, there's so many good ones.
Give me one, give me one.
Okay, this one's simple but powerful.
I like simple and powerful.
It's for purification and protection, and it uses just 3 ingredients.
Yeah.
Milk, anise, and salt.
Okay, milk, anise, salt.
Milk, with its association to motherhood and nourishment, is believed to soothe and comfort.
Okay.
Anise is known for its purifying and protective properties. And salt, of course, is a classic ingredient for banishing negativity, absorbing unwanted energies.
It sounds incredibly grounding.
It is. It's like a warm hug for your soul.
I love it.
It's all about creating that sense of peace and renewal.
That's amazing.
And that's the beauty of these practices. They engage not just the mind and spirit, but the senses as well.
Right, it's whole experience.
Exactly.
So speaking of engaging the senses, the sources also mention smoking someone with incense.
Ah, yes, another one that often gets misinterpreted.
I bet. And for the record, we are not talking about anything harmful here.
No, not at all.
This is not about, blowing smoke in someone's face.
No, nothing like that.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
This is about using the power of scent to cleanse, protect, or attract desired energies.
So it's kind of like the bath, but with smells instead of, soaking in a tub.
Exactly. Different incense blends are associated with specific purposes, just like herbs.
So, for instance, you might use frankincense and myrrh to create a sacred space or attract blessings.
Exactly. Or sandalwood to promote healing, lavender for peace and tranquility, cinnamon for prosperity and abundance.
It's amazing how scent can have such a powerful effect on us.
It's subtle, but undeniable. It can shift our energy, our mood, our entire state of being.
And Hoodoo really seems to understand that, the power of these subtle energies.
It's all about working with those energies, harnessing them to create positive change.
I love that. It's not about forcing anything. It's about working with what is.
Exactly. It's a partnership, a dance between you and the universe.
That is such a beautiful way to put it.
It's about recognizing the magic that's already present in the world around us, in the elements, in the plants, in ourselves.
I love that the magic is already there.
It's just waiting to be awakened.
Okay, that is going to be a mic drop moment right there.
I like it.
We'd have to end the episode on that one.
We might have to.
Because that's pretty profound.
It is. It's about tapping into that inner power, that connection to something greater.
Yes, and recognizing that you have the ability to shape your reality.
Precisely.
I love it.
It's empowering, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And I think that's what's so captivating about Hoodoo. It's not about relying on some external force.
Right.
It's about recognizing the power within yourself.
Absolutely. It's about reclaiming your own agency.
I love that. Reclaiming your own agency.
It's about understanding that you are not powerless, that you have the ability to create change, to manifest your desires, to live a life that is authentic and fulfilling.
And sometimes all it takes is a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of intention, and maybe a pinch of wahoo root.
Perhaps a spiritual bath or two?
And maybe a strategically placed hoodoo doll.
Don't forget the incense.
Oh, and the incense, of course.
It's all part of the magic.
It really is. It's about using all the tools at your disposal.
Exactly, and approaching it all with respect, responsibility, and a sense of wonder.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, and you know what? I think we have given our listeners a lot to think about.
I hope so.
So, until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that magic alive.
Absolutely, and remember, the power is within you.
You know, it's funny, right? We were just talking about hoodoo being sort of this southern thing, but it kind of reminds me of other folk magic traditions, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Particularly like Appalachian folk magic.
Right. There are definitely some overlaps there.
Because they both draw on all these different cultural influences, right?
Mm-hmm. You've got African traditions, European folklore, even some Native American influences in the mix.
It's like this blend of, whatever worked, whatever people found effective.
Exactly. It's about practicality. It's about resourcefulness. Yeah. It's about drawing on the wisdom of the ancestors and adapting it to your own circumstances.
And it really highlights, I think, the universality of a lot of these spiritual practices, the human desire to connect with the unseen, to find meaning and purpose and...
to influence our reality.
Yes, to influence our reality, to find some sense of agency.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that we're not just passive observers in this life, that we have the power to shape our own destinies.
I love that, and I think that's a message that resonates across cultures, across time.
It's timeless, really.
It is. It's like no matter who you are or where you come from, there's this innate human desire to understand those hidden forces that shape our world.
And to work with them.
And to work with them, exactly. So we've covered so much ground today in our deep dive into hoodoo.
We really have.
From its historical roots and key figures to specific practices like track gathering, laying tricks, use of herbs, dolls, spiritual baths.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has, but I'm curious, for you, the listener, what stands out?
What sparks your curiosity?
What are you going to be thinking about long after this episode is over?
Is it the emphasis on intentionality? This idea that we have a hand in shaping our own reality?
Or maybe it's the resourcefulness of hoodoo, right? This ability to find power and meaning in everyday objects and experiences.
Maybe it's the reminder that magic isn't always about grand gestures and supernatural feats.
Right. It's often about those small, intentional acts, those moments of connection with something greater than ourselves.
And it's accessible to everyone. You don't need to be a mystical initiate or have special powers.
Exactly. It's about tapping into that innate wisdom that we all possess.
That power that lies dormant within each of us, just waiting to be awakened.
And maybe, just maybe, this deep dive into hoodoo has sparked a little bit of that awakening in you.
I hope so.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that magic alive.
The journey continues.